The Los Angeles Lakers' 4 games winning streak has been mauled by Memphis. Even though it still looks as though they are finally heading on a better path, there's definitely a lot of room for them to improve. One of the ways that they could potentially improve in the middle of the season is via trade and buyout opportunities. It definitely seems as though there is a chance that they might make some moves. And the Lakers have been already reported as having an interest in players such as Ben Simmons and Jeremy Grant. As of now though, it seems as though their goal is to simply clear space on the roster. Brian Windhorst of ESPN has recently claimed that the Los Angeles Lakers are trying to move on from Kent Bazemore and DeAndre Jordan to free up roster spots, similar to what they did when they traded away Rajon Rondo. They already offloaded a player in Rondo to create a roster spot, and they are looking to do more of that. With LeBron James starting at center and eventually getting Anthony Davis back, they are looking to move DeAndre Jordan. Not necessarily for another player, but to move him so that they can open up a roster spot. Kent Bazemore is another player that they've been willing to talk about. Again, I think their goal is to open up a roster spot. The Rondo move looks like it's been designed for Stanley Johnson to fill, but they may look in the buyout market for another player. They're trying to figure out how to do that. It's not difficult to see why the Lakers are exploring the possibility of moving Bazemore and Jordan, as the duo has struggled to see the floor so far this season. While the 30-year-old Jordan is a one-time All-Star, 2-time rebounding champion, 2-time NBA All-Defensive Team selection, and 3-time All-NBA selection, he hasn't had a huge role with the Lakers this season, though appearing in 27 games and averaging 4.5 points and 5.7 rebounds in a career-low 13.2 minutes per contest. Jordan has been used especially sparingly of late, having not appeared in a game for the Lakers since December 23rd. Bazemore is a 32-year-old journeyman known primarily for his three-point shooting ability and perimeter defense. Due to those assets, he was a key role player for the Atlanta Hawks and Golden State Warriors in the past. This season, Bazemore has seen slightly less action than Jordan, playing in 22 games while averaging 18.1 minutes per game, and is only putting up 4.3 points per game on below-average shooting numbers of 33.7% from the field and 34% from three-point range. Like Jordan, Bazemore's playing time has waned recently, as he has not appeared in 8 of the Lakers' past 9 games. James has been starting at center lately, with Davis on the shelf because of a knee injury, and veteran Dwight Howard has been the top center option off the bench, leaving Jordan out of the rotation. In terms of wings and guards, the Lakers have been leaning on Malik Monk, Avery Bradley, Trevor Ariza, Talen Horton-Tucker, Carmelo Anthony, and Austin Reeves, which has left Bazemore with few opportunities. If they trade Jordan and/or Bazemore for no salary in return, and sign a replacement to a rest-of-season minimum salary contract today, the Lakers would reduce their luxury tax liability by nearly $2.5 million per swap. The Lakers would also save more if signing bought-out players later in the season rather than today. It doesn't matter when Jordan and Bazemore get traded, their full salaries would get removed from the books regardless. These figures are based on Los Angeles' current payroll. Other moves could affect the tax bill. The projection also doesn't account for the sweeteners necessary to unload Jordan and Bazemore. Other teams are likely unwilling to take these unproductive veterans without enticement. The Lakers just paid $1.1 million to dump Rondo, and that required finding a team desperate for guard help and that had a player with smaller undesirable guarantees. Whatever the exact finances in the end, these are logical moves for tax-paying teams. If they don't believe Jordan or Bazemore will factor into the playoff rotation, the Lakers are probably better off trading them to teams outside the luxury tax. As Brian Windhorst mentions, moving on from players that haven't played well and creating roster spots could allow them to acquire additions from the buyout market that would benefit them. It is unclear who those players are, but the Lakers surely will have options if they're already trying to create open roster spots. We'll see what happens with the Los Angeles Lakers going forward. There is no question that they are still an amazing team from a talent standpoint, and perhaps some moves on the fringes can help them get back to competing ways.